Many women don't realize the mistakes that they're making until retirement is right in front of them. And by then, it's a little bit harder to fix some of the mistakes that they've made along the way. My name is Josephine Bojang, and in our Women in Finance series, I'm here to provide some education, awareness, and hopefully impactful thoughts that will inspire you to make some changes. Retirement is a longer phase of your life. A lot of people look at retirement like it's the end phase of your life, but honestly, that could be a whole new chapter. And we work with a lot of federal employees. Some of them retire, they can retire at age 57. When you're 57 and retired, that doesn't mean life ends at that point, right? That's still like another 30, maybe even 40 years of life that you still have to live. And so it's important to plan properly for that so that you don't run out of money and you can do all the things that you've worked so hard all your life for so that you can get to that phase of your life. So that we want to make sure to help you live out that dream. One of the most common mistakes women are making in financial planning is not taking action. I think procrastination is a lot of mistakes most people make because we're comfortable doing what we've always done, and so why make changes? I'm okay now, so why do I need to make any changes? The reality is career gaps, and a lot of times being a woman, you are the one that sacrifices and put everyone else's needs in front of yours. So a lot of times if you have a child, then maybe you stay home for several years, and so then you take a step back from your career to spend more time with the family. Or if you have elderly parents that need care, you tend to be the person that steps in. And so a lot of times what we need to make sure is that even though you're doing all of those things, and it's very noble that you're doing those things, but we still need to make sure to look at the bigger picture so that you're still back on track and not having that be a setback. I think a lot of times women, we tend to think about what today looks like, and the reality is things change in the future. So right now you're married, but in the future one spouse could be gone. It doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be the husband that's gone first, but women live longer. They tend to live longer. Longevity is there, and so a lot of times you might be the one left alone to handle the finances, to worry about healthcare and what that looks like. And so it definitely is a very important part of the overall planning, which is why we should not procrastinate and we should not lean on the other person to make all the financial decisions. We need to make sure that we are informed, even if we're not the person that makes the actual pieces of action, but we've got to be informed. Delaying in retirement planning is definitely a detriment, right? The longer, and that applies to anything in life, right? The longer you wait to do something, the time is not on your side. So you have less time to actually achieve what you're trying to accomplish. And just the longer you put off things, you're just going to stay in the current state and not have a better solid plan for the future state. A lot of times we come across married couples, and one of our clients in particular, they've done a great job saving. And that's a lot of times what we see is folks that have done a good job, been very diligent about saving for retirement, but they're not doing things necessarily the right way. But it's not for lack of trying, it's just more of lack of knowledge. And so we met with a couple recently, and the husband was thinking of retiring, and we talked to them about, making sure that they put everything in place before they retire, get your health checkup, do things like that to make sure that you're in a good position. Unfortunately for one of our clients, a health issue did arise, but they were so happy that they met us when they did, because not only did we, kind of get ahead of the issue a little bit, but now they feel very confident because we've put together a plan about helping them with their tax planning, because again, they've been very diligent, saving, definitely have a lot of resources, but it wasn't in the right places, which could then end up being a headache for them down the road. And so by us putting the plan together, they know that they don't have to worry about income in the future, but they also don't probably have to pay out as much in taxes in the future, which would then impact their Medicare premiums, all of that. So, sometimes just having another person to talk to makes a world of difference.
What's the most powerful thing that women can do to take action today?
I think that's just in the words, take action. Take action is really important. Get informed and then try to figure out how does this relate to me? Who's the person providing that guidance? We'd love to be folks to provide guidance for all of our clients. And so main thing is just take action. Take in the education, but then more importantly, take action, right? We hear the phrase knowledge is power, and one of our friends always says, no, applied knowledge is power. So I think taking action is the main thing that will change the course of someone's life. I know today we talked about biggest mistakes people make before retirement, but I think the bigger mistake from there would be taking no action. So it's never too late to change course. Let's have a conversation. If you want to hear more, please contact us and let's just have dialogue around it so that we can be that guide and help you change that course so that you can retire confidently.